Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a beautiful surfactant based shower gel. So last week I shared with you how to make a creamy body wash and you all really liked this video, and I told you last week that this formula took a really long time to come up with and perfect and be ready to share with you. Well, this one also did. It took a really long time to learn how to use the surfactants the right way and to formulate a recipe that was perfect in my mind and ready to share with you all. So I'm super excited to be sharing this with you today, and I can't wait to hear your feedback on it. So in this video today, I'm going to be telling you and showing you how to make this soap, my step-by-step process, and why we're using the different ingredients that we're using. And kind of like I explained last week, not all surfactants are compatible. There's a lot to know, a big learning curve here. So hopefully I can simplify the process. And if you're interested in the full written recipe and tutorial, please head on over to my Patreon campaign where you can unlock this recipe for just a small $5 pledge. In fact, you can unlock a ton of recipes and tutorials for just that small $5 pledge. And there is loads more to take advantage of over there. So if you're interested, please take a look in the description box. The link to my Patreon campaign is in the description box below. All right, let's make some soap. Okay, first things first is we're gonna go ahead and start weighing off the surfactants for this recipe. Now the surfactants in your liquid soap or your shower gel are what give your shower gel or your liquid soap its bubbling and foaming properties. So you're going to choose your surfactant based on what type of properties you want to bring to your soap. So for this recipe, I wanted a really bubbly, frothy shower gel that had big Hollywood long-lasting bubbles. So my main surfactant in this recipe is sodium cocoa sulfate noodles. Now I chose this for its high foaming and bubbling properties, but also it's a natural product that's derived from coconuts, so it's plant-based, and it has great cleansing properties. So before I open up this bag though, I'm gonna go ahead and put on a mask because in its dry form, sodium cocoa sulfate can be irritating to your airways, and you just wanna go ahead and protect your airways with some sort of dust mask before you open the bag. But then once it gets wetted down, you don't have to wear a mask. It just, as it's in its dry form, it can be irritating. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and weigh it off, and then I'm gonna be putting it into this crock pot because we are gonna be eventually warming up our formula. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pour that into here. And then we're gonna weigh off the second surfactant. So that one is going to be, this is our coat surfactant. And it is in liquid form, and it's called cocamidal propylbutane. And this is also a mostly natural liquid surfactant. It does have some synthetic, but it also is derived from coconuts, and it is known for its good lather, its cleansing properties. So we're going to go ahead and weigh this off. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and just pour it right into the crock pot. And then the next thing we're going to do is weigh off the water. Now I tried to keep these ingredients for you guys fairly easy to come by and simple, and I think you're going to find the recipe pretty simple to follow and very effective. So the next thing we're going to do is just weigh off the water. As you can see, we're kicking up some bubbles already. So we're going to pour this water in here. All right, and now it's safe to go ahead and take off this mask. And we still have more water here that we're going to be weighing off. All right. And then we're going to be pouring it into here. Okay, so now that I have everything in the crock pot, I'm going to go ahead and turn my crock pot on high And what we're trying to do is dissolve down and melt down all the sodium cocoa sulfate noodles. So that's that hard surfactant matter in here. We're just gonna get it all dissolved down into the water and also the other liquid surfactant, the cocamidopropylbutane. So once this is all melted down, there will be some other things that we're going to be adding to the soap base. So as this is melting, I will bring you in for just progress checks so you can see what it's looking like. And this will take a long time to melt down. So I'll go ahead and time that for you and give you the amount of time it takes to dissolve all this down. So right now, I'm going to put the lid on it because I don't want too much evaporation. And if you get bubbles and you use rubbing alcohol to just get them out, that's going to be important along the way as well, so you're not incorporating too many bubbles. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on there, and we're just going to allow this to sit and dissolve down the hard surfactant matter. Okay, so this soap has been warming up on high heat in my crock pot for about 40 minutes. So I wanted to go ahead and show you what it looks like. It's very thick and viscous at the moment. It will thin as this starts to dissolve down more. But this is what it looks like after about 40 minutes on high heat. And just to give you a temperature read here, we are sitting at 91 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll bring you back for another update soon. Okay, so it's been about an hour and 20 minutes, and I want to go ahead and show you what it looks like now. So when I start to stir it, you can see the surfactant matter is sort of floating on the top here, and we've got a clear soap stock going down underneath. And so really we're just trying to achieve that clarity all the way through and make sure this gets all the way dissolved down. So we're going to keep letting it dissolve and melt, and you want to come in every few minutes, every 10 minutes or so, and just give it a stir and try to squish up any of that surfactant matter and just kind of stir it up to hasten the process. All right, I'll bring you back in a little bit for another progress update. Okay, so this has been dissolving and melting down now for approximately 3 hours. And as you can see, there still is a little bit of surfactant matter in there, but that will continue to dissolve out as the solution still is pretty warm. And you could probably hasten this process and make it go a bit quicker if you had this over a little bit of a higher heat, but I wasn't in any real hurry, so I just came and stirred it every now and again and allowed it to warm up. It was about 145 degrees in the crock pot. So I'm going to transfer this to another container, and then I'll bring you back for the next steps. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add in the glycerin. So glycerin is going to help this recipe to build body and viscosity in the bubbles, and it will also help with long-lasting bubbles. Okay. And then directly to this, we're going to go ahead and add in our fragrance oil. So today I'm using Pink Sugar Crystals by Candle Science, and it actually works really, really good in liquid soap, at least for this recipe. Liquid soap in general, you know, you're going to have different fragrances are going to act very differently in your liquid soap recipe. So if you do decide to alter the fragrance, I would recommend using one in very small test batches and making sure that it works. And also I find that it's much easier to add in your fragrance oil when the soap is still really warm. It just helps to combine. So for instance, your soap based on your fragrance oil is going to act differently. Like right now you can see my soap is clouding up because I just added in the fragrance oil, and because the soap is warm, this cloudiness will go away faster than if the soap was cold. And some fragrance oils will not go clear. Your soap will go cloudy and it will stay cloudy forever. So this particular fragrance oil happens to just work very, very well in this recipe. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and add in some color. Now this is optional, and any liquid soap dye or water soluble dye would work great in this recipe, but I am using some FD&C De Balm FD&C Red from Nature's Garden, and I am going for a light pink like I showed you earlier. It's funny because my camera is showing this up more as like an orangey hue, but this actually in person is very light pink, like cotton candy, and the pink sugar crystals has a very cotton candy type smell. Okay, and we're getting a really beautiful, just cotton candy pink color. Again, the camera is showing it up as orange. I wonder when I process this video if we'll still get that orangey hue or if it will look more true to actual life. Okay, so as you can see, I'm stirring in a lot of bubbles as we go along here, and this will need to sit. Right now my temperature is sitting at 129 degrees, yeah, between 129 and 134-ish. So we need to allow this to come down before we add the preservative a little bit. So I'm going to wait till this comes down to around 100 degrees, and then we will add the preservative in and let it set up to room temperature before we put it into the bottles. So I'll bring you back when we are ready to add in the preservative. Okay, we're back to go ahead and add in that preservative. The soap stock is sitting right around 100 degrees, and we are going to be using some liquid Germall Plus. And the reason I've chosen that preservative is it has a high water content, and liquid Germall Plus is great for formulas with high water content. And I'm adding it at around 100 degrees so I don't kill the preservative off. Also, I don't want it to be too cold because I want the preservative to bind nicely with the soap and get fully incorporated. So we went ahead and measured it off, and now I'm just going to give it a quick stir. And then after I stir this up, I'm going to go ahead and cover it and let it get down to about room temperature. In my house, it's about 75 right now. So I'm going to let this get down to about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I'll show you what the consistency is before we bottle it up. All right, be back in a minute. Okay, so the soap has finally reached room temperature. It does take a long time for this to reach room temperature, so feel free to just leave it overnight. That's probably the easiest way. I always make sure I either cover it with an airtight lid or a piece of plastic wrap just to avoid any excess evaporation, and also so things don't get inside of it while it's sitting. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and show you the viscosity here. It's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful consistency shower gel. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that. It's really, really a nice, beautiful consistency. Okay, and I think the easiest way to do this is to get this into some sort of pour pitcher. So I'm going to be using a little Pyrex here that's got a pour spout on it. And then we'll just refill it as we go along. Okay, so I'm just using these cute little Boston round PET containers from Nature's Garden. These are 8 ounces, but they do hold 10 ounces of fluid soap weight. So I just go ahead and fill it up. I guess you could use a funnel, but I just find this way the best because you're not wasting any soap that gets stuck inside the funnel. So there's one. All right, everybody, these are all bottled and capped off, and look at that gorgeous viscosity. It's really a gorgeous shower gel. So I wanted to go ahead and give you a lather demo, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring you back and show you how the shower gel works. Okay, everybody, I think you're going to be super amazed at how big and fluffy these bubbles get. This is the best foaming liquid soap that I've ever made, and again, that is just based on the surfactants that we used and the combination and the ratio we used. So you're just gonna get your loofah. This is my little tester batch here. You just start working it into your loofah. I mean, right away it starts to produce these big, copious, very silky bubbles. Super nice, and it just feels really luxurious, really nice. So that's just off that little bit that we put in the loofah, and it's just got this excellent foaming action. So if you like bubbles, if that's something that's important to you, this is a really great formulation. And also, I'm loving the clarity of this soap, so nothing is making this soap cloudy or hazy. It's just a gorgeous all-around shower gel. So there you have it. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with a friend. Catch you on the next video. Keep shining. Bye.